In this video, I'll teach you how to build a rain barrel that will last at least a week. Rain barrels give you free water to use on your plants. The rain you catch is better for your plants, and your plants will love you for it. Stick around to the end of this video and I'll break down all the material I've used and the total cost for this whole project. With that said, smash the like button and let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Devin from Prepping to Survive, where I help you live a simple, safe, and happy life. Did you guys know that for every 1 inch of rain on a 500 square foot roof, it'll yield around 300 gallons of water? This will significantly reduce the amount you spend on water over your summer, especially if you live in a climate that's extremely hot. University of California calculated a food garden on average needs about 1 inch of water over the surface area per week. That's 25 gallons per 40 square feet. For this project, the main things you will need is a 55-gallon barrel, a drill, a downspout attachment, a 10-in-1 screwdriver, a 7/8-inch hole saw, a 1 3/8 hole saw, a 1-inch plastic male adapter for the overflow hole, Teflon tape to seal your faucet at the bottom, and a 1/2-inch ball valve faucet, a tape measure, a hacksaw to cut your downspout, a jigsaw, and a downspout. So the design for this rain barrel was very simple. From the downspout, I wanted a filter at the very top to stop any leaves from going into the water supply. And then I wanted a mosquito net at the very bottom so that any bugs, any mosquitoes cannot contaminate the water. I wanted a big rain barrel, so a 55-gallon drum. In the very bottom, I put cinder blocks at the very base, and then a thick slab to disperse the weight, because this thing is going to be heavy when it's fully loaded. And then at the very bottom, just a spigot, a half-inch ball valve faucet. And then I wanted it elevated to have a canister underneath, so I can either have a garden hose at the bottom or a canister. And that's essentially the design. That's what I came up with. The very first thing you want to do for any heavy weighted project is to level the surface off. Underneath, I put 6 garden wall blocks, just 3 on each side, and then a concrete slab on top, and that's just to disperse the weight of the 55-gallon drum. And then later on, these are actually used for raised garden beds. So later on, if I decide to turn it into a raised garden bed, I can. It gives me the option, so it's a multi-purpose brick. So the very next thing you want to do is get some sort of dish soap. So you never know what's in your 55-gallon drum. So you want to get something that's environmentally friendly and wash out your 55-gallon drum. Oh, baby! So the next thing you want to do is you want to mark out 4 inches down for your overflow hole. I'm using a 1-inch PVC male adapter. Then I'm going to use 2 sealing rings and then the lock ring to hold it tight, and then a 1-inch insulated plastic bushing on the outside, just so to keep the thread safe. Let's get started. To make sure that your overflow hole is sized correctly, what you want to do is you want to take your 1-inch male adapter, make sure that the plastic bushing is not on it. Pick your hole saw that's just a bit bigger than the actual threaded part of the 1-inch male adapter. So as you can see, it's just a tiny bit bigger, and it's going to give room for the lock ring to catch on to the 55-gallon drum, and nothing's going to go through, and the sealing rings can actually seal it. So that's how you size it correctly. So this is 1 3/8, and it'll say it on the side of the hole saw. So it's a 1-inch male adapter, as you can see right here, and then it's a 1 3/8 on the side of the hole saw. To get your overflow hole adapter on, I tied a string onto a measuring tape. Make sure you leave enough rope so it doesn't fall through the hole, because then you have to start all over again. Add the lock ring and the gaskets onto the string. Then with the measuring tape, and the string attached to it. Feed it from the top through the overflow hole. And untie it from the measuring tape. And then you should simply be able to thread it onto the adapter. Now that you have the hole at the top for your overflow, the next thing to do is to get another hole at the bottom, and that's going to be for your 3/4 ball valve faucet. And one thing to keep in mind is you want to keep your rain barrel higher up. That'll increase the pressure for your faucet, but at the same time you want to do it as low as you can, the hole as low as you can. So I'm going to be doing it 2 inches higher, and because it's sitting on the cinder blocks, that's going to increase the pressure as well, and you're able to get your canisters underneath to water your garden. For your ball valve, you want to take your Holesaw and make it a tiny bit smaller, because you're going to be doing Teflon tape around here so it seals. If it's a tiny bit bigger than the Teflon, it won't grip and you won't be able to seal the hole with the ball valve. And another thing to keep in mind, so when you do put on your Teflon tape, you're spinning this piece clockwise to screw it in. So you do your Teflon tape the same direction as how you're screwing, because if you go against it, then it's going to peel it off as you're spinning it. After you use a Holesaw or jigsaw, the next thing you want to do is you want to cover this with some sort of mosquito net. So I'm going to be using just a small mosquito net that I bought off of Amazon. Just going to use it over top, and then I'm going to put my new downspout that I cut in over top of this. And the reason I chose this indented area is because if water runs on top, we get a lot of rain, it'll still be able to go into this hole even if it misses. And what I will be using to screw it in are these screws here. And then on top of the mesh net, I'm going to be using this, I think it's a plumbing fitting. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but I'll have it in the description at the end. I'm going to be putting it over top and then taking this downspout with a filter on top and just putting it over top like this. So it's going to be very snug. And then that top piece is just going to be attached to the downspout. That's going to be the assembly. Just like any project, nothing always goes 100%, very rarely. So I'll bring you guys a bit closer to see the hiccup. So my plan was to put it on right here, so the downspout doesn't have to be cut and I can run it over and into. But now I'm gonna have to move all these blocks over. And what I'm gonna try to do is have it right straight up and down. So I'm gonna cut the downspout right around here. I will show you guys right now. Thank you guys for watching until the end. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Giving a thumbs up helps the YouTube channel and I appreciate it. Until next time.